We'll end things today by checking in with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, I keep waiting for us to get that extended stretch of cold weather, but so far nothing yet. What can we expect for the week ahead?
Well, Troy, we really haven't seen much of a winter so far. In fact, we've been dealing with these much above normal temperatures pretty much for the second half of the fall period, especially ever since that big snow event that we had in the western part of the state toward the end of October, and it brought into the wildfire season in the central Rockies. Now, as we go forward, we've seen this system that's moved through the state over the last 24 hours. The models had a really difficult time with this system over the last 7 days. They've been all over the place. They finally come to a consensus during the midweek period. We did get a little bit of a snow event of it develop, and primarily the most of it fell to the south of Interstate 80, the more significant accumulations in southwestern Iowa. Now that system's moving off to the east. We have a couple more systems that are going to come down the pipeline. At this point in time, it doesn't look like we have much of the way of significant moisture until we get into maybe the second half of next week. And even that system right now is being kept far enough south of the state that doesn't really pose an immediate threat. But I will caution you that we've seen the same results with the previous two systems. One did pass to the south of us, and of course this one did get lifted a little farther to the north. So we can't rule out the potential for some snowfall before Christmas, but it's looking honestly bad for looking for a white Christmas at this point in time. So let's look at the upper air models and see what we can expect as we go through this period. And of course, the energy with the first trough that was responsible for our snow is now passing off into the Ohio River Valley. A second piece of energy is going to follow on its backside. We basically are on the backside of the snow shield, and it's moving off toward the east. So the snow will come to an end this morning. We're going to stay cool, primarily basically normal to slightly below normal temperatures in the 30s. The primary precipitation shield shifts off as we go forward to the day into the Great Lakes. And then as we get into tomorrow, that trough to the south of us starts to move into eastern Texas. High pressure tries to settle in across the central plains. That's going to keep most of the moisture to the south of us. Any of that overrunning moisture will remain in western Kansas and points off to the south and southeast. And then as we go into the day on Monday, another trough tries to start moving in through the southern stream. That system itself with the low pressure in Texas really doesn't have any moisture to work with initially, so it's going to be fairly dry ahead of this frontal boundary as the main precipitation shield stays off to our east. Most of the moisture will remain over the central and northern Rockies. But as we get into the day on Tuesday, this system starts to intensify, pulling cold air into our region. Low pressure basically over northern Louisiana is going to start moving moisture up from the Gulf toward the north. But really it doesn't have much to interact with this cold air, so we're probably looking at a few flurries at the most. And then this trough really starts to wind itself up as it gets into the eastern United States, and we expect to see some pretty significant moisture with high pressure firmly in across the central plains, cooler high pressure over the southern Prairie Province regions. That's going to keep us well into the 30 range during the midweek period as most of the precipitation is on the western United States. And then this big trough starts to really energize itself as we get into the Thursday time period. Low pressure is shown to develop across southwest Kansas and western South Dakota, but again, since that trough is so far back, we just don't have the moisture to feed in to get any interaction with precipitation. It remains over the central Rockies. And then as we go into the later part of the week, this trough starts to dig into western Texas, and it will start to pump some moisture up toward the north. But once again, because it's so far southward, it's going to take a while for this low to really move this moisture northward. But we'll be aware that there is some precipitation showing up in the southern Rockies. And past experience would say that there is a good chance that this will start to lift toward the northeast. The question is when and where will it occur? This may be our last chance to receive any significant moisture because a warming trend is in store for next weekend and all the way into just before Christmas. So we look at the 8 to 14 day forecast, which takes us from Thursday through the Tuesday before Christmas, well above normal temperatures. That high pressure starts to build in toward the end of next week. And in terms of precipitation, of course with high pressure, below normal moisture is expected.